For 89 US dollars, this has a few things going for it. Hello, my friends. Another day, another watch, another video. And today we are looking at a watch from an Amazon brand, or at least this is available on Amazon, a company called Wishdoit. I don't know what Wishdoit means. Maybe two friends were talking one day and said, hey, you want to start making watches? And one of them just said, Wishdoit. Sorry, bad dad jokes come along with questionable branding. I don't mind the logo though, and thankfully I know that the brand name is not on the watch dial, just the logo. So I think we can get over the name of the company. You did see the pop-up. They did send this in for review. I do not have to send it back. There was no additional cash compensation or anything like that, and there will be an Amazon affiliate link down in the description. That's not an affiliate link with the brand. That's just my Amazon affiliate link that I leave on basically everything when it comes to Amazon products because, hey, if Bezos is going to send me a couple of pennies, I'm going to take it. So if you want to take a look at this, take a look at the links in the description down below. The price point on this, not too bad. We're well under $100. This was $89 US, and as I record this, there's a 10% off coupon code, so it drops it down to right around $80 on the nose in US currency. Let's get a little top-down angle going so we can take a look at everything that's going on with this Wishdoit diver. Spoiler alert, it's a dive watch. So what can we get in the $80 to $90 range on Amazon these days? We've had a nice run of AliExpress watches. Time to take a look at something from Amazon. We have a plain black box inside the sleeve with absolutely no branding at all. And that is going to reveal a warranty card. Now, I have taken a look at this. I did open it. I took the plastic off beforehand. This warranty card impressed me a little bit. Just knowing what most micro brands are doing these days, you're looking at 1 to 2 year warranties. This, you can see, 5 years from date of purchase. So a 5-year warranty is pretty darn good. So we're off to a decent start there. Nice little polishing cloth. I don't know. You buy enough watches, you end up being overrun with these things, and then you feel bad for tossing them out. But this looks like a pretty decent one. We'll keep it around for a little bit. We also have push pins in the bracelet, and that's a dead giveaway by the cheapest, chintziest push pin removal tool that I've ever seen. I mean, our needle is already bent. So this is not going to work to remove any push pins. We've had push pin removal tools included with watches before, mainly that we've gotten from AliExpress, and they're higher quality than this. This is a piece of garbage, let's be honest. And that's exactly where it's going to go. There it went, in the garbage. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for the watch. It's under some bubble wrap, and it is packaged in, I don't know, kind of one of those cheap cardboardy type jewelry boxes. So this is stuff that is not going to stick around. You're not going to want to keep that. But this might be a different story. We have an interesting looking kind of I don't know. This is a little, I guess a cross between modern and a classic diver, because, you know, we're getting some skin diver vibes here, but we're also getting some modern touches. I'm going to get these hands kind of out of the way here. We'll get it to 1010 so we can look at what we really have here. It's a screw down crown, 150 meters water resistant. You know, before I get into any of the finer kind of details and subjective opinions on this, let's go ahead and do some specs. We have a pretty standard 40-20 diver here. So 40 millimeter on the case diameter, 48 millimeters lug to lug. I measured the thickness at 12.2 millimeters, and it weighs in at 152 grams. That's with all links on the bracelet. So once you size it up for yourself, it'll be a bit lighter. Case and bracelet and clasp made of 316L stainless steel, a sapphire crystal with no anti-reflective coating, 150 meters of stated water resistance, a 20 millimeter lug width with a pretty nice 3-link pseudo oyster style bracelet. The model number here is WSD-987 with a Seiko NH35 movement that has your standard 41-hour power reserve, and its accuracy is rated to -20 to +40 seconds a day. Okay, first things first, my bad. On that shot during the specs, the crown was blue. It wasn't blue, it was just a piece of plastic. I've since taken that off. It's a nice signed crown here. And I can say, as a bigger guy, 8-inch wrist, big hands, big proportions, right? This crown is very nice to operate. It's not on the bigger side or anything like that, but it has enough texture and serrations around there to be able to get a good grip on it. This is kind of your standard Seiko NH35 diver that we see all over the place. But the design on this is super interesting, and there are a couple of things that are just kind of jumping out at me. Number one, obviously the dial. We have a blue fading to black from top to bottom, and with that green automatic text down there, this is obviously pulled from the Rolex James Cameron Deep Sea or Sea Dweller, Sea whatever it is, the one that goes really deep down in the sea. There's a picture on screen right now. You know what I'm talking about. The white minute track on the outside of the dial there, that kind of gives me Breitling Super Ocean Heritage vibes, only without the heritage type of feel. Like it's stark white and modern in feel, but in design, I feel like that's kind of what they were going for. We got rectangular applied indices all the way around, longer rectangles at the 6, 9, and 12. We got our white date window there at 3 o'clock. I usually like dial matched date windows, but in a situation like this where we have white markers on a darker dial all the way around, I like the white date window because it kind of keeps the symmetry of the dial design in my eyes anyway. We have what seems to be a ceramic insert in the bezel. I'll look that up and see if we can confirm it, but you'll see a note on screen right now. But I think that's a ceramic bezel insert. It looks like it to my eyes anyway. Let's go ahead and get the microphone really close and see how this bezel action sounds. So bezel action sound is pretty nice, but bezel action, like in practical use, there's quite a bit of backplay here. It's really interesting. I'm not sure. I'm going to say this is just kind of a below par, maybe like a D or a D plus in the bezel action, because it's not slipping back. You can't actually make the bezel go backwards, which is good if you're timing a dive. It's kind of the point of these whole things, but there's a lot of backplay. It seems a little bit sloppy. It's a little bit crunchy, kind of sandy. Like if there was a little bit of sand in there, that's kind of how it feels. But at least the kind of the coin edge around the bezel makes it easy to grab. So it's not difficult to operate. It's just not the most accurate thing in the world. So if you're using this for general timings of things, it's going to be just fine. If you're using this to actually time a dive and use this as a legitimate dive watch, which, let's be honest, nobody out there is going to be buying this to use it as a dive watch, then I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for that. I like the hand set. We kind of got the split rectangle for the hour hand, and then the longer rectangle for the minute hand there, with a rectangle, I don't know, kind of a rectangular lollipop on the seconds. I like it. I like it. The markers, the indices, the handset, everything seems to be matching and lining up here. There are squares, there are rectangles, there are all sorts of those things. Again, Wishdoit, The branding, terrible name in my opinion. I'm not sure what it translates to. It might mean something, so I don't want to offend anybody, but as an English only speaker, not a huge fan of the name Wishdoit, but they leave it off the dial. So I commend them for that. And the logo is, it is what it is. I've seen better. I've seen worse. 150 meters water resistant. It is a screw down crown, so it very well may be 150 meters water resistant. But as with watches like this from non-major brands, kind of take it with a grain of salt and tread lightly with that stuff. I wouldn't try to push its limits when it comes to water resistance. As you can see, the studio light there is doing all sorts of things to the crystal, which means we have basically zero anti-reflective coating on this thing. I wish we had some AR coating. That's my only opinion there. I wish we did. As we get in here, we have this kind of oyster style bracelet, 3-link oyster style. Everything's brushed. Case finishing on this is plenty sufficient, right? The brushing is nice. Have I seen nicer brushing? Sure. But I've seen worse stuff too. We got some polished chamfers there on the lugs. Other than that, everything is brushed. It's just a really tooly looking dive watch, which is kind of exactly what you want out of a dive watch. This clasp, though, I got something to say about this clasp. This clasp is this is where this is the first time that we see kind of the budget creep in, right? So we know we have this kind of keeper here, very similar to a kind of a Rolex looking clasp, right? But once we undo that keeper, this is almost, that's really hard. That's going to break a nail. If you have nails longer than that right there, it's going to break a nail. So you're going to have to really grab this by the sides and pull it. There are no moving pieces under here. If you see, it's kind of that Rolex kind of beak style clasp closure, but on this clasp, there are no moving pieces. So it is not an easy deployment of that clasp. It's all just friction fit. So once you get it in, it's nice and secure. But that keeper is going to mean a lot, because after taking this off and putting it on over and over again, that piece will wear out due to that friction over and over again. So this is something that I could see. This is also does not seem to be milled like this entire. I don't think anything in this entire clasp is milled. There is no on-the-fly micro adjust of any kind, as you can see, but there are a few kind of micro adjustment holes inside of there. If you can make them out. I'm sorry. I'm doing a horrible job at showing this to you guys. Let's see here. You can see a few little micro adjust holes. There you go. 1, 2, 3, and then we're on the 4th one. So there are some micro adjustment holes in there, just no on the fly micro adjust. At this price point, I get it. That's fine. But the clasp is lacking on this. While we have it open one more time, let's go ahead and take a look at the case back, because that is pretty cool. We have a solid case back. It's a dive watch. We got a nice sailboat there with some specks around the edge of the screw down case back there. It's a nice little package. It's pretty good. Want to see it on my 8-inch wrist? I do. Not upside down, though. Let's turn it over and get this on wrist and see what we're looking like. I have not sized this. It has all links in it still, and we got plenty of room there. So 8 1/4, 8.5 inch wrist, you're going to be okay. Much bigger than that, I don't know, tread lightly. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be great for you, just because, I don't know, it might end up being a little tight if you're above 8.5 inches. But on my 8-inch wrist, for admittedly a smaller watch, like I don't typically go down to 40 millimeter, tool watches. I like a little bit more wrist presence. Obviously, here's the watch I was wearing today before I put this one on. my Hamilton. This is my diver of choice at the current moment, and you can tell like it is substantially larger. This is what I like in a tool watch. It fits my wrist proportions better, but this looks really good. And I don't know, despite my little bugaboo with this clasp, I think that this is a pretty good looking package. It's a comfortable bracelet. The case and bracelet finishing is pretty much spot on for the price point. It's nice. I'm not seeing anything offensive in the brushing of the case and bracelet. And this all comes together pretty nicely. It's a really interesting kind of James Cameron Breitling with an oyster bracelet type of homage that they've put together here. To say that this is an original design would be a little disingenuous, but this isn't a carbon copy of any one watch. This is more of an amalgamation of multiple, which all have some really good things going on with it. And it's not done in a way to where those good things are lost. So pretty cool, I gotta say. Let's take a look at the Lume. All right, here we go with the real world Lume shot from the full sun into the dimly, darkly lit garage/studio. And man, we got a ton of Lume here. Basically, everything is loomed. We got bezel, we got minute track, we got indices, hands, seconds hand, tons of Lume, and a nice application of the Lume. This thing's a bit of a light show, and can't lie, I'm pretty happy with this. So how's the Lume? Is it any good? That was future Mike that recorded that Lume shot. So I currently sitting here do not know how the Lume looks, but you'll know how it looks before I do. So let me know down in the comments below if you like the Lume or not. I mean, what do we think of this thing? It's interesting, right? Let's do some final thoughts. For $89 US, this has a few things going for it. Let's be honest. Super interesting looking dial. Is the dial a color copy of a Rolex? Yes, it is. But at $89, this is not taking any sales away from Rolex. Trust me. But you get that color combo of a dial. The Lume, I just did the Lume shot in between former me and current me, and the Lume is cool looking. Like everything that you could ever want to be loomed on this thing is loomed, and it's a nice application of it. So no complaints there. Aside from the name of the company that makes it, Wishdoit, maybe that's just a me thing because I'm a marketer. And Monday through Friday, basically all day, I'm trying to help companies figure out how they can brand themselves the best way possible. That's what I do for a living. HitTheRedButton.com, by the way. That's my company. If you need revenue producing content for your brand, hit me up. Let me know. If you just want to keep looking at watches with me, let's do that. That's what this channel's for, to kind of get my mind off of that stuff. Back to the watch here. It's just really interesting. It's a cool looking watch. The bracelet is not the best quality. Push pins are kind of weak, and the clasp, we know I have issues with that. But especially if you're in the market for something to pop off the bracelet and put on like a silicone or an FKM rubber strap, maybe toss it on a NATO, have some fun with it. If we're looking at the watch head, like the real meat and potatoes here, this thing has a whole lot going for it. And not a whole lot that I can point out as a big glaring issue. Not at an $89 price point, $80 as I record this. So maybe you get a little bit cheaper. Maybe it is right around that $89 US price point. I'm not sure. But take a look at the Amazon link down in the description. Again, affiliate link that helps the channel. Thank you if you use that. End of the day, there's nothing that would make this watch register as special to me. Like, this is not a special offering. This is not the new grail of affordable timepieces, but it's a really cool look that I haven't seen before. So if you like the look and you have $100 to spend on a watch, pick it up, take a look at it. And it's through an Amazon store. So, the return policy should be pretty good. And it'd be pretty easy to kind of rectify that purchase if you end up regretting it. With a 5-year warranty from the manufacturer. I don't know. The more I talk about this, the more I kind of like it. Wishdoit, give me a better clasp. I would love a milled clasp on this, completely milled clasp, and give me some AR coating. Give me a milled clasp, give me AR coating, price it at $119 as opposed to $89. I feel like that bump in price would be well worth those couple of extra features, those kind of nice to haves that would make this more of a user-friendly watch on a day-to-day basis. Those are my two big gripes about it. Other than that, your mileage may vary. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Are you going to pick this up? Is it a compelling thing for you? Do you not like that they're copying the James Cameron look of the dial? Or do you just like that it's available at this price point for people that want to see how that would work on their wrist, with their style, with their wardrobe? Let me know down in the comments. I'm interested.